accused of firing at officers and burning down 2 homes, was killed in a standoff that lasted several hours. This was up in Maine this morning. So police say the man broke into a home just before 1 this morning and then got into a fight with the person inside. Authorities say the 43-year-old man started shooting at officers after burning down the 2 homes. Maine State Police later shot the suspect on a rooftop.
State Police tactical team members located Mr. Hinkley on the rooftop of 33 Russell Avenue with a firearm. Moments after, he was shot and killed by Maine State Police tactical team members. Right now, there's obviously no threat to the public as the suspect has died.
And keep in mind, police had a shelter-in-place order evacuating homes, also closing off a section of the street. Officials say the suspect was on bail from days earlier after violating parole.
And is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Orange County. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kiana Burks. It happened on Spencer Road in Orange just before 1:30 this afternoon. State police say a trooper from the Berlin barracks was conducting a welfare check there when he found a man unconscious in the driver's seat of a car parked in the driveway and suspected him of using drugs. Police say the trooper requested rescue crews respond for a possible overdose and was trying to wake the man up when he noticed there was a sawed-off shotgun in the car. Police say the man regained consciousness and the trooper ordered him to get out of the car. The man complied and exited the vehicle, and the trooper tried to take the gun. Police say it was at this point when the man started resisting and a scuffle ensued that ended with the trooper shooting the man several times. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. His name is not being released at this time, but police did say this.
The male is preliminarily identified as a 40-year-old male, or in his early 40s, from central Vermont. We'll have confirmation tomorrow after the autopsy at the medical examiner's office. Right now, we're really early in the investigation. We still have a ways to go. So as more information becomes available, we'll put it out.
The trooper involved in this incident has been placed on paid leave. His identity will be released in the next 24 hours.
Suspected of shooting from the roof of a home near Compton is dead after a standoff with deputies.
This all happened around 8 last night near Rosecrans and Caheta. Homes in the area were evacuated as deputies moved in. There was an exchange of gunfire and the man was found dead. Authorities say a shotgun and cases were recovered from the scene. It's unclear if he was shot by deputies or killed himself.
Atlanta News First can confirm one of the suspects in Milton's officer-involved shooting has died. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Blair Miller. Police confronted 3 suspected shoplifters from a clothing store. That ended with gunfire outside a Walmart. Atlanta News First Madeline Montgomery has been speaking with witnesses.
And Madeline, this is a rare occurrence in the city of Milton. Witnesses told you about 5 shots were fired.
They said they would never expect anything like this. This parking lot completely covered in crime scene tape. GBI and police were out here for hours trying to figure out all of the pieces of this with tons of cars, witnesses, and suspects.
It's my second day working, and I'm over here just cashing people out, and I just hear somebody saying, "Put your hands up." The cop saying, "Put your hands up."
A jolting way to start a new job.
5 minutes later, I hear shooting, and I saw the guy shot him. I was just scared because it was my second day, and I just never expected nothing like this.
I was at work, and I got a text and a call from my daughter. She was saying that someone was shooting.
Milton police say the scene Noel Manuel witnessed from the McDonald's drive-thru was the end of a chase from a suspected shoplifting at Kohl's involving this red SUV. They found it here at a nearby Walmart.
The female, the cops yelled to her and said, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground.
The female driver was arrested without incident, but police say one of the other suspects stole another car forcefully. The GBI named that suspect as 31-year-old Shantidra Harris.
He got into a vehicle and then he hit the cop vehicle, which you can see the one that was messed up, and he hit a cop. And then that's when the cops justifiably shot him.
A spokesperson for the GBI confirmed Harris hit the officer with the stolen car, and that's when the officer fired his weapon.
I'm nervous, I'm kind of shaking because that never happened. I never heard a gunshot in real life.
The GBI clarified that Harris is a woman, and they say that she was pronounced dead at the hospital. And police told us that that third suspect who's on the run has still not been found, and they believe that he is no longer in the Milton area. And we do know from police that their officer did have to go to the hospital, but he has already been released. Reporting live in Milton, Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Senseless acts of lawlessness that were geared against not only the community but against our law enforcement.
A deadly shooting involving New Hanover County Sheriff's deputies. Sheriff Ed McMahon talks about what led up to the incident that left a man dead inside a truck. Deputies shot and killed him at the intersection of South Core Avenue and Wilshire Boulevard.
He's identified tonight as 34-year-old Stephen Todd, who investigators say stole a truck, a boat, and guns, and drove that truck into law enforcement officers. WECT's Zach Solon has more on the investigation and what led to dozens of shots being fired at the man. Now, Zach, what happened to the detectives actually involved in the shooting?
John, the 3 detectives are now on paid administrative leave pending an outside investigation by the State Bureau of Investigation. The SBI will determine whether the use of force that ended Stephen Todd's life was justified. A late-night shooting.
Like it was just a loud pop.
After a day-long search.
There's someone who's lost their life, and when that happens at the hands of law enforcement in a shooting that we're about to detail, the protocol never changes.
New Hanover County Sheriff's detectives shot and killed Stephen Todd late Thursday night. District Attorney Ben David says Todd stole a truck, boat, and guns from a home in Wilmington earlier that day. Officers spotted him on Castle Street around 5 p.m.
Detectives notified 911 dispatch, and WPD arrived at the Castle Street boat ramp, and the suspect fled, attempting to run over the detective and leading multiple WPD officers on a short chase.
But officers called off that chase for safety reasons. At that point, they considered Todd to be armed and dangerous. Detectives spotted him again just before midnight.
The suspect refused to comply with the detectives and actually struck a sheriff's vehicle head-on, causing a very serious crash into the telephone poles.
That's when Michael Hatton says he witnessed deputies open fire.
They jumped out the truck with guns drawn, jump on this man's hood, no freeze, get out of the car, show me your hands, nothing. They just unload a lot of rounds in his windshield.
Todd died at the scene. Sheriff's investigators say they found a loaded gun in the truck. Tonight, the detectives involved in the shooting are on paid leave while the SBI investigates whether the use of force was justified.
You look for what a similarly situated officer would do, and you also make sure that if there's multiple accounts that they're individually interviewed, and so they've been separated and are doing that.
While officials say this is an isolated incident, questions remain about what led to the death of this suspect. This was not Stephen Todd's first run-in with the law. He has misdemeanor convictions dating back to 2013 and was convicted on felony theft and gun charges in 2019 and earlier this year. I'm told he just got out of jail 2 weeks ago.